Going live, answering some of y'all's questions. What up? Welcome to the live. If you don't mind, hit the like button. Going to be answering some of y'all's questions that have come in on comments and some of the questions that come in here live. Thanks so much for hitting the like. I appreciate it. So yeah, going live on YouTube and on IG. All right, let me get some of y'all's questions. So feel free. I'm going to start with some of the questions that came in on comments since our last live. And Todd, what is up, homie? Thanks for popping in. Karis, what's up? Mr. VIP. Roy, I'm probably messing up your name, man. Rahit. Tell me if that's right or wrong. I'll try it again. Probably since I probably messed up your name, I am gonna start with your questions. With your question. All right. So Rahit asks, Ro hit. Got it. Okay, Ro hit. Got it. All right. So he asks, how much do you need to get started buying an internet business? This is one of the things that I think is a big difference between internet businesses right now and offline businesses. I think there's a lot of opportunities to get like no money down deals on the offline deals. But when it comes to internet businesses, the multiples are going down in a very, very big way. One of the things, and this is something to think about from the seller's perspective, one of the things that I think buyers don't keep in mind is that when it comes to an internet business, the seller really needs you to have something on the line. Because unlike an offline business has assets, it's got a little bit more difficulty associated with messing it up. With an online business, you could go in and just start changing things or messing up things immediately. And all of a sudden they literally are left with no asset. Now, if you're a seller that's experienced, you've got some measurements that you can take around that. But for the average seller, they're thinking, man, I'm not turning over this delicate asset to you without you having something on the line. I think that we're getting to a place now where there are going to be more of those opportunities, but I don't think we're quite at the place. And so I think the other side of that, so how do you get a no money down deal in today's market? One of the things is to just raise the capital. So now we're in a situation where we can basically, hold on one sec, guys. So we're now at a point where we can get the deals so cheap. I mean, it's really unreal. We went from buying deals at a 3 multiple, 3.5 multiple. I've got clients in the market that we're in right now that basically they're buying deals at 1, 1.5, 2. And what that means is that if you start to raise capital, you're in a situation where you can raise capital and give an amazing return. Something to keep in mind. All right, what we have next. Adam, what's up, homie? Thanks for jumping on here. All right, so we have one of the questions that came in on the video today, and I will definitely get to your question on the difference in the real estate market. That's a great question. All right, so let's see. One of the questions that came in on the video I did today says, "Hey, Ace, great. That definitely sounds interesting. I have a question about no money down deals. I know it's not your focus right now, and I understand every deal is different. But are there any hidden or unexpected costs to doing those types of deals?" One of I was actually just mentioning this, and this is a hot topic, and for good reason. One of the reasons that I didn't talk a lot about those types of deals the last couple years, not even the last couple years, excluding the last months, was because there weren't enough of those opportunities out there. And now we are seeing more of those opportunities that are popping up. And we're in this amazing situation. It's really amazing where there's a ton of liquidity. Middle class people have more money than ever before. And they're investing it because there's not a lot to spend it on. So the savings in America is sky high. And they're also, if any of you kept up with the whole Hertz thing, where you've got a lot of uneducated investors in the market right now that are looking for things to invest in. And so it's a great opportunity to raise capital. And then it's a great opportunity to basically, hola. I got some people doing some stuff in the house right now. Sí, estoy en una llamada, pero puede hacer que necesitas. So yeah, like you're in a situation where there's a lot of cash, and then businesses are really cheap. So it's a great place to be. Is the bottom line. But if you're gonna try to just do a strictly no money down deal, y'all see the cool lightning in the background? That's pretty cool. So if you're going to try to do a strictly no money down deal, then you basically want to go after very motivated sellers. And when it comes to the motivated sellers, there are more of them than ever before. And so that's probably why I'll talk a little bit more about the no money down deals in the coming months, just because we're seeing more of those opportunities where right now there are a lot of businesses that have assets, that have a great brand, that have a lot of opportunity for growth, but they're basically in a situation where they can't they can't do much business. And so if you're somebody, you take a restaurant today that traditionally only done kind of sit down service, and now you're willing to come in, take over that restaurant, and push them towards a more of a kitchen. I've got a buddy right now who is not bought a deal, had a kitchen in it, and didn't just turn that restaurant into a business that delivered and all that, but it had a oversized kitchen that was before, when there was more business, was really valuable. But he started doing a couple things where he rented out that commercial grade kitchen because they had all the licenses to be able to deliver food. And then it became multiple restaurants that operated out of this kind of old school restaurant. So there's just a lot of creative things. If you're willing to be creative, those opportunities exist. Then you have some industries. We're targeting a few industries that just have people that are older that are running the businesses in that industry. If you look at the average age of financial advisors, it's like 58. And so if the average age in an industry is 58, there are going to be a lot of those folks that are looking to retire, or looking to do something, looking to just do something different, given the tough times that we're in right now. They don't want to they kind of see this as a time to exit. So targeting an industry where the average age of the people that own those businesses is a little bit older. So those are a few pointers on the no money down deals. All right, get to the real estate. All right, so we got this question in Instagram. wait, cheap really? Why is this so different from real estate market where the market is still on fire? So in general, the business buying market just doesn't get a lot of attention. So there already just aren't a lot of buyers. I mean, you can ask yourself the question, the last time you went to an event or a cocktail party or whatever, if you ask the room how many people knew a real estate investor, most people do. Most people know somebody, if it's not an uncle, a cousin, a good friend, a coworker, everybody knows somebody who's investing in real estate. Now, if you ask the same question, how many of you know somebody that's buying and flipping businesses? The It's just fewer folks. And so it's always been very tiny. And so that number of people hasn't grown. And at the same time, the supply of businesses and business owners that, there's basically a multi-trillion dollar transfer of wealth that was already happening because baby boomers own a majority of the businesses, and and they're getting to an age where they try to sell, and now they're just a little bit older, and we're in this pandemic and social unrest and all of this, and so now they're definitely ready to retire. So we're in a situation where the supply for businesses is greatly higher than it was before. Greatly, the increase percentage wise is definitely higher than like real estate or anything like that. So you've got a lot of those folks that are now ready, more motivated to sell. All right, we'll get to another live question and then I'll get to a commenter's question. Um, what kind of internet businesses do you usually buy? And what do you recommend staying away from? So we're doing a lot of different types of deals. Oh, and on YouTube, you guys got to get busy on the like button. Hit the like button, man. But thanks so much for popping in. So I buy all kinds of businesses. I mean, we do everything from SaaS, and keep in mind as well, I'm not buying businesses as much right now as investing in businesses. So it's a pretty diversified portfolio. Just today, had a really great call with Kevin Peterson. Shout out to you, doing an amazing job. We invested in his SaaS business, and it's a business that's doing really well in the market that we're in right now. But literally, if I look at my calls on the deals just today that we're involved in, it's everything from B2B SaaS to a toilet business, to a pillow business, to what else did I talk about today? Education business. And then, I've got the royalty business, which right now there's still some pre-IPO shares. You guys can find out more information about that if you're interested by going to FijiRoyalty.com. Go to FijiRoyalty.com and you can check that out. So a lot of different types of businesses. Glizzy, like the name. I'm sorry, I missed the second part of your question. So, and what do I recommend staying away from? Great price on it. What was happening before? I was telling people stay away from drop shipping. And it's not so much that drop shipping was a bad business. Shout out to Johnny FD. He Travel Like a Boss is one of his many businesses. But we were hanging out in Chiang Mai back when you could travel last year, in the good old days, in Thailand. And between talking to him and having a client who's in a drop shipping deal, it's really evident that those can be great businesses. My problem was that the moat around those businesses wasn't really big, and the multiples were just getting high, along with everything else. And so now we're at a point where all of the multiples are low. So those can be really, really great deals. So it's more about the business that you're buying, the opportunity that you've got to grow the business, and the deal structure that you put together in the business. And then you just have the standard things like obviously, being able to do due diligence and those kind of things are important. So not anything in particular, obviously anything that involves two people physically being together is a no-go. I was talking to a buddy that has a website that helps people who are looking for in-home physical therapists and that kind of thing. And it's just been a business is down, and so you want to look at what are the things that are going to grow. Or if you're buying something that's down and you're saying, hey, I'm gonna get a really great deal right now, and then 6 months from now, hopefully, who knows, a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever it is, when things are different, I'll be able to take advantage of that increase in business. Uh, Glizzy asks, do you have to stick in one niche in private equity or do multiple? So there's a lot of ways you can do it. You know, we've got a fund right now. So basically, I'm kind of acting or helping as a GP on two businesses. We have the fund that is coming out of, oh, can y'all hear those dogs? Those dogs are very annoying in the background. But we have one fund that is coming out of the private equity fund incubator. First one, very proud of that. If you haven't checked it out, check out my interview with one of my three partners in that fund. Where we basically went from beginning to end, starting. Three people that graduated from my Deal Makers Institute, and we're partnered together on a fund. We've already closed our very first deal. It's the GP that I interviewed in that video is basically kind of leading the first deal and is doing an amazing job. Already tripled the business. We're looking at basically tripling that triple, which is pretty outrageous. So really, really awesome, cool first deal to close in that. And in that fund, it's very agnostic. I mean, it's like, hey, we're going to look for opportunities, and really the kind of mantra around that fund is we're looking for minimum 100% means. So check that video out. So that's what our goal is when we're trying to go out and do deals in that. Have another fund that's more of an impact fund back in my hometown, Chattanooga. Shout out to my man Jonathan. I think we may have a call coming up tomorrow or Wednesday. That fund is already in 3 deals and is just amazing deals. It's more of a royalty focused fund. And obviously, I do have a separate royalty business, so that's not the royalty business. It's a fund that's for micro private equity, basically mid-size. It's 5 million. I feel like private equity, like the fund that I did, that was a $12 million fund, is a larger fund for micro private equity. So you kind of get a sense there, but very, very excited about both of those funds, but very different. The second one is just doing offline deals. The first one, that was a niche. I mean, we're only doing internet-based businesses. If something came across though, like I said, like the real goal of that business and the mission statement is just around like rate of return, or with the goal of infinite. And the other is and basically infinite just means that we have no cash. So we're doing a deal that essentially we get our money, we refinance, we do something, we get our money out of the deal as soon as we close the deal, and then everything that we return, that is infinite return. The other deal is all offline and is royalty or revenue based loans. So it's up to you, and at the end of the day, the rule is you can do whatever kind of fund you're able to raise the capital for. Jabari, what's up, homie? Uh, let's see. I'm a US-based investment banker seeking sellers. How would you go about sourcing deals? Hmm. As well as what industry would you focus on right now? So, I mean, sourcing deals, they're just, it's endless. The most obvious thing is right now, it's easier to source deals than ever before because more people are at home, more people are active on social media, LinkedIn. But the thing that I like the most is becoming a part of a network. So whatever industry that you want to target, I think you've got to figure out where those folks are networking and then become a part of those networks. And now everybody's obviously networking online, and so if you can join those LinkedIn groups, join the Facebook groups, become friends with the leaders of those groups, and then convince them to introduce you to people that they feel like, because they're going to know the people that are in their group better than you. So if you can get them to introduce you to the people in their group, that's going to be, just a one. Number one, it's I don't really like going direct in. So I guess at the foundation of even that recommendation is I would just always be looking for an introduction. One of the things we do back in normal times is chambers of commerce. We want talk to the chamber of commerce, convince them. Listen, hey, I have this fund. We're looking for these kind of deals. Da da da. Who do you think would be a good candidate? And can you give me an intro? CPAs, same thing. Great source of deals. Can I get an intro? So those are three ways that I would initially, and I don't really have a recommendation on industry. I'm very, like I said, even in my funds, in Fiji, in um, in everything. You look at the largest private equity funds as well. There are very few that are industry focused. Like we're just going to do this industry. So yeah, I don't have a preference. There's some things that I think are interesting. I've got an interview coming up with a guy who built a $20 million home health care business. So that's an industry that's really interesting to me, and how he scaled that business up. Andrew, what's up, homie? What questions you got? Pop a question in here, man. Andrew's a part of Dealmakers Institute. Let's see what we got over here. Also curious on financing options in this space, or does one need to raise 100% of the capital? No, like you don't have to raise 100% of the capital. Like go out and raise it. There's a lot of different sources of of capital. you know, when it comes to a business, when you're looking at that business, you want to start to separate like where are the places of value, and then where can I get these funds? If it's a business that has a lot of assets, then you want to do some asset based lending. If it's a business that has a great history, right now is the easiest time in history to get SBA loans. And so if it's got consistent income, consistent profits, it's going to be easy to raise capital from a bank just doing a SBA loan. There's just there's a lot of places that you can get the capital. We're doing a deal right now where we realized, oh no, I did not realize my battery was that low. Where's the all right, guys, I gotta take a break so I can not have my computer die on you. And I can check on what they're doing in my house. Hola. ¿Todo bien? Estoy en mi llamada, pero quiero y cuando llega al país. Ah, estaba estudiando, yo tengo mucho tiempo en la casa. para estudiar. Ah, sí, sí. Ah,
El 15 de febrero,
ah,
y entonces cuando estaba en el COVID, esto va para la
¿puede caminar conmigo? Yo necesito poner eso porque no tengo batería en mi laptop.
Sí, entonces me regresé el 15 de marzo, pero tan pronto vuelvan a abrir pues a abrir los vuelos,
Sí,
me voy otra vez.
pero ¿piensas que ellos van a abrirlos en septiembre o yo
Yo creo que nos toca por
tampoco?
lo menos hasta diciembre.
Sí, sí, por
Pero
lo
bueno,
menos. Y
pero
pienso
estás
que
hablando
es,
muy bien, estás hablando muy bien, Ace, qué maravilla. Que así quiero yo hablar inglés.
Sí, pero también español es demasiado complicado.
Sí, es
Como
complicado,
todo,
pero es un idioma muy bonito, pero lo estás hablando,
sí.
y el acento, bien. Ace, qué maravilla.
Muchas
Qué
gracias.
bueno. Entonces, no, ya es esperar, ¿no? Yo sé que por lo menos hasta diciembre
Sí,
no,
pienso
no,
que
no
es la
podemos,
verdad.
no podemos volar.
Sí.
Porque yo sí tengo muchos deseos, es que es mucho más fácil. Por ejemplo, tú has aprendido mucho más español, pues mucho más fácil. Estás aquí.
Sí, sí, por
Claro,
supuesto.
donde vas, tenés que, al lugar que vas, tenés que hablar. Y entonces uno va educando el oído,
Todo el
todo.
día, sí.
Entonces,
Y en la televisión también,
televisión,
sí,
todo.
escucho
Entonces, yo
todo.
por eso tengo muchos deseos de irme, ¿no? Y en verdad Estados Unidos me encanta.
Sí,
O sea, Colombia, donde está mi hermana. Y me encanta. Y también Jefferson City, también lo conocí. No sé si tú conoces esa parte por allá. Colombia, Jefferson City, toda la parte de Missouri.
sí, sí.
Ah, muy lindo, me pareció lindo, lindo, y en verdad estaba muy contenta
Sí,
allá,
tengo un amigo que está en Saint Louis.
en San Luis.
Sí,
Ah, sí, queda 2 horas y media
sí.
de Colombia.
Ah,
De Colombia.
bueno.
Ah, pero súper bien.
Pero es interesante que tú estás en Colombia allá y Colombia acá.
Imagínate. Imagínate.
Bueno, y sí, no sabía que tú estabas acá, así estoy en una llamada de video ahora, pero sí, si necesitas algo en allá,
Tranquilo, no, yo lo que pasa es que tengo que estar acá porque
sí,
eh,
pero sí, yo sé que tiene cosas acá, así si necesita
sí, estoy aprovechando
venir.
las cositas que necesito, porque entonces mi hermana me alquiló una de mis hermanas me alquiló un apartamento allí.
¿Dónde?
Ve, aquí arribita,
¿En este
no,
edificio o
no, más
detrás?
allá, más allá.
Ah, bueno, bueno.
Ahí en la 77 aquí, porque estaba viviendo en el apartamento de mi mamá, pero entonces, ahora pues ya, eh, ella va a regresar al apartamento y hey, todo mucha costumbre ahí estoy.
Sí.
Yo no sé qué pasa igual. Entonces,
Bueno,
yo dije, no, entonces le dije, no, tengo que buscar un apartamento porque en realidad para mí es muy importante tener pues este apartamento rentado porque como tengo unas deudas,
sí,
tengo que
eso.
pagar esas deudas y no, de todas
Thank you
maneras,
guys for sticking in here. You get to hear me talking a little bit.
entonces, no, la idea es irme tan pronto abren los vuelos.
Sí.
Pero sí está complicado, está muy complicado en Estados Unidos.
Oh, y sí, sí, va a estar muchos problemas si Trump gana, si no gana, es como los dos, pienso que va a estar muchos problemas allá.
No, yo pienso que peor si gana Trump. A mí me encanta.
Sí, es mejor. Yo nunca en mi vida yo pensaba que yo vine acá y
Sí, sí.
what's up? I'm back. No, what's up? I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to pop in and then got into a whole conversation. All right. Let's see. What were we talking about? Oh man, Andrew, I already love where you're going, man, with the Carl Icahn comment. Are you reading one of the books? Let's see what we got over here. What's up, Coco? cosas de colombianos, habla, hasta que ya no te... Sí, es la verdad, Elena, es la verdad. Ah, okay, let's see. We got Uzman, what's up? Uh, actually, I think I missed some. I missed some. All right, let's see. What's up, man? Yes, building relationships is key. Echo and Andrew, we got my instincts just told me to get on YouTube. Thanks. I'm glad you jumped on, man. Sorry I had to pop away for a sec. How large is your fund? So we have one that's 12 million, you have one that's 5 million, one that's 1 million. So, and I think every fund that I do from here on out will probably be in the 1 million and less, because right now you don't really need cash. You don't need a bunch of cash to do deals. And once you get, we're basically doing deals where we're closing the business, we're buying the business, and then we're buying deals where we're able to get the money back out of the business almost instantly. So you don't really need money. One of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to micro private equity is very different from private equity, is that most people think that it's good to have a lot of assets under management. But if you know what you're doing, you know some of the strategies that actually Curtis and I talk about, you understand that whatever you raise is a liability. It's just a loan, guys. Like when people ask, like, "Oh, how much assets under management?" And that's what I was doing before. Like I was like, okay, I was on the opposite before. It's so funny. I was like, all right, like, man, 1 million and 5 million. Then we raised 12, and it was like, okay, next one's gonna be 25, next one's 50, da da da. And then the more experience that I got, the more that I realized that I really don't have to. Sí, sí, por supuesto. So yeah, like that becomes the liability, and it dilutes your returns. So there's just a lot to it. I mean, that's why I created the private equity fund incubator, is to go through some of these lesser known things, because micro private equity is not private equity. It's a different animal. It's a different thing. And it took me going through and learning a lot of these lessons that, turned around for me. All right. Let's see. All right, I do have to get to great. I love you guys coming in and having some really great questions. Let's go to, let's see. All right, we got this question from Abenor. I don't know how it's pronounced. But what's the industry standard for middle manning deals? This is a great question. A rough percentage, flat fee. I know it's different for each deal. So personally, I don't like charging a percentage, because I just get paid once and then that's the end. And after that, it's like, okay, I've got to go and find another deal and close another deal. So I'm always trying to get equity. I want to get equity in the business, not let's close this door. So I want to do a deal, and I want to get paid forever, even if it's a smaller percentage. So I would do it based on equity personally. But I'll answer in 3 different ways. If you're going to get a percentage, you can really base it off of broker percentages. And if you're gonna look at brokers, they're charging anywhere from 10%, some charge 15%, and it's why brokerage is such a great business to be in. If you're looking at a $500,000 deal, which is not a big deal, you're talking about a $50,000 payday. It's a great business. I'm always encouraging. That's one of the things Andrew who's on in DMI. We're always looking at how do you just get into deals and get into the middle of deals, because there is a lot of room for money to be made. So that's 15, if they're doing a 10%, which a lot of people charge 15%. And a lot of these deals are $1 million deals. I talked on the video just the other day about a $25 million or a deal that I did that was at that point a $4 million business, but it grew into a $25 million business. So that me, I got a great payday in that deal. And that is one where I wanted equity, and they were basically like, "No, dude, we know what's about to happen with this. We will pay you more," because they knew they were going to take this from a $4 million business to a $25 million business. And I'm like, "Hey, I think I'd like to be along for that ride." And they would basically kick me out. They kicked me off the bus, but it was with a little golden pillow to land on, so I could not complain. But they were like, "Hey, we would rather pay you more in cash than we would have you along and take up some of this equity for the long haul." Muchas gracias. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's on the percentage. On equity, it's going to be lower. So 10 to 15% on a percentage basis. On equity, I would say on average, if you're going to do that 10 to 15, then it's going to be 5%. And some people are going to go for that. Some people aren't. But I probably wouldn't go much below that. If somebody's trying to get you down to 1 or something like that, then I'll just be like, all right, give me the 10 to 15. For just one of the things you asked was just like a set flat fee, I would stay away from that. Number one, it makes the number sound big. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get paid as much money by saying a flat fee as you will a percentage. Because if you take that same example, you take a $500,000 deal, you say, all right, I want 15%. I know brokers that are getting that all day long. But you go to the same person and say, if this closes, I want 75,000. There's just, they're gonna be like, dude, you're freaking crazy. The same number, but how you present it is everything. So I would stay away from the flat fee. So those are 3 different things on that. All right. Kirby, what's up, Kirby? Kirby says, or is that Darren? I think that name may be Darren. But hey, Ace, came across the podcast, Web Equity Show. Thanks so much for checking out Web Equity Show. I'm new to buying businesses. My focus currently is health and fitness online, as that is a sector I understand. My question is around locating these businesses and then approaching the business owners, and any basic advice you could give. So yes, I would say, the easiest place to start when it comes to finding deals, like I said before, finding those networks online right now and networking with them. Rewind to a little bit before. Thanks so much for the likes over here on YouTube. Some more of you can definitely hit the like. Thanks for jumping on. Let me go back to some questions over here. Somebody asked, what is Dealmakers Institute? Dealmakers Institute is a group of people that are basically get involved in micro private equity acquisitions. And it doesn't mean that we're buying the businesses. It could be joint ventures. It could be putting together deals between buyers and sellers, where we do what the person was just asking about, just take a percentage of equity, a percentage of the transaction commission. But it's a group of folks. And if you're interested, you can visit dealmakersinstitute.com and find out more about that. Andrew, what's up, homie? Andrew asks, I've been learning a lot about Carl Icahn. Do you have any deal makers or investors you like to follow, or is it just Goldman Sachs? You know how much I love me some Goldman Sachs, man. Muchas gracias a ti. Vete pronto. Sí. Bueno. Hasta luego.
Todo está perfecto.
Perfecto. Muchas gracias. So yes, you know how much I love me some Goldman Sachs. Um, Basically, I think when it comes to deal making, they are the best. They've just done an amazing job with it. And there's some other investors. I think right now I like some of the philosophy around Bill Ackman. But their deals are so much different than ours. It's kind of that whole thing that we're talking about, and that's why the Deal Makers Institute is so crucial. It's like you getting to talk to a lot of other people that are also doing those deals. No. Okay. No sé. Sí. Sí, me escribes. Por favor. Bueno. And I'm sorry, I keep and like going back and forth from Spanish to English. Like my Spanish is not that good, so I have to use like a ton of brain cells to think about what I'm saying in Spanish. Hasta luego. Uh, so yes, that would be so cool if there were more. But just think, Andrew, you're going to be one of the people that is followed in the future, man. Talking about this kind of stuff and really getting deep into specifically micro private equity, because I think one of the misconceptions, and being in the program, that it's not as much about buying. Like there are a lot of people that are out there talking about buying businesses, but the truth is there's not as much about buying businesses as it is what we call it, just like deal making. There's not so much even a name for it, but it really is a art. So nobody that even comes close to comparing to my love for Goldman. And probably the reason is that Goldman looks at both sides. They have a client on one end that has a deal, and maybe they're trying to raise some capital, they're trying to raise some debt, some equity, whatever. On the other end, they've got investors, and they're kind of just mixing and matching. And then the investor also maybe needs some capital, and they come back over to this end and get that capital. And so it becomes a lot of fun, and it's a lot of what we're able to do within funds. And I did the video talking about creating a ecosystem of that's similar to Wall Street, what creates some of the cool opportunities. But we have to build that from scratch. Thank you. I was thinking about having multiple funds in different industries when I get older. That is a really great thought. That's the main reason I'm very clear with you guys that I believe in capitalism. I believe that making money and growing and you benefiting while others benefit is what makes all this work. And so I'm very clear on the fact that the reason I started the private equity fund incubator, the reason that I'm investing my time in helping folks like Curtis, like Laurent, like Steven start funds is because I want to have more funds. We need like an ecosystem of multiple funds. I want multiple funds to be able to invest in that can get these kind of returns. And so, it's like, hey, they can win and I can win. So that is why I do that. And I invest my money, in the Sleep and Beauty Fund. Check out sleepandbeautyfund.com. Just launched that, which is really exciting. And that's the fund that we're discussing on that interview on the YouTube channel. And one of the cool things about that fund is that I put in 100,000 of my own money. You know what I mean? So I'm not just saying like, oh, we'll go put a fund and figure it out, and we're gonna put other people's money in. It's like, no, like I believe in what I'm doing enough to say, I'm going to invest in the fund that I'm training other people to run. And then I put 100,000 of my own money into the fund. All right. And it's probably actually, I'm actually going to be increasing that. It'll probably be 125, 130 in that range. All right. Why don't you start a large PE fund? Why do you keep the fund size small? Because we invest in small deals. And the reason we invest in small deals because the return is higher. The larger you get, the more you have to buy larger deals. When you're buying larger deals, those sell for 8, 9, 10 multiple. And really, there's probably, on the first call we went through in the private equity fund incubator, I go through about 20 reasons that you like. For us, you don't want a large fund. But like at the most basic, this is like the most basic level of reason is the more money I raise, the more I have to do larger deals. And if I do 1/3 of the money, but I'm buying a deal that literally at this point is 1/5 of the price. So at first, because larger deals are still selling at an 8, 9, 10 multiple, hit the like button as you guys are coming in over here on YouTube. Pretty please. Thank you. But you've got the larger deals that are still at a 7, 8, 9, 10 multiple. And the smaller deals have gone from a 3 to a 2 to below 2. So if I've got too much money, then I've got to get larger deals, and it makes the return lower. The other part about this that's different is that I'm not large private equity funds. They're looking to make money off of the assets under management, and that's why there's a big focus. And this is where you guys have to kind of change your thing. The thing just has to change for these smaller funds and smaller deals, because there's no way. Like, you only really start making good money based on assets under management when you're at the 100 million mark, because you're just going to charge 1 or 2 points off of the whole amount. But to invest $100 million in that's the whole space. So the other things, like, you can take $1 million fund and make the same million. If you look at us getting 100% return this year, which actually we're trending towards more than 100% return for the first year, then I don't need I could have 100 million under assets and make $1 million, or I could have $1 million under assets and make $1 million. With a lot of things. Micro private equity is a totally separate thing. It's just different from any fund. It's not. You can't think about it like a regular fund. I'm coming back to you guys on IG. I have one more here, and then I'll get back to IG. Let's see what we got. What would you say your ROI would typically be in the arena of private equity? So, like I said, our minimum is 100%. We're looking in Sleeping Beauty Fund. We're trending towards 100%. It's going to be higher than 100%, but to say the percentage sounds outrageous. But yes, minimum 100%. And to get more details on that, check out the interview with my partner in the fund, Curtis. One of my partners. There's also Laurent and Stephen, who are doing an amazing job as well. I'll have them on and do interviews soon as well. For getting the money back out of the business, do you mean like ABL? ABL is asset-based lending. Usman asked that. So it's like asset-based loans, factoring of receivables, doing a straight bank loan, selling some of the assets that are in the business, taking some of the paper assets and raising capital against those. it's endless. So you're just looking at what it depends on the business and coming up with a structure. But royalty, financing, um, crowdfund. I mean, it's endless. Terry asks, "What's up, Terry? Thanks so much for jumping on, homie. So you're primarily concerned with equity because of residuals, especially if the business grows." Oh, we're going. So this is in regards to the whole thing of instead of going in and just getting a commission, getting equity. Yes, and it's just about it's about the residuals. It's about long term. Like I don't want like every all the work that I do right now. I don't want to ever get paid on anything one time. Like I don't want to use my time, and this just comes down to a life philosophy, which is, our most valuable asset is our time. And so if I'm going to give a little bit of my life to something, I definitely don't want somebody to just give me some money for that. I want to, if I'm going to give up a little bit of my life for it, I want it to go on forever. And so, even like this time right now with you guys, I do a video once, and now this will be out there, and all of your amazing questions will be answered for somebody else. And whether regardless if they ever become a client of mine, that still is like, even if I'm doing something that's just for the good of others, I want it to be ongoing. One of the things that I love is that my family has a little foundation where we do some philanthropic things, but it's built on the concept of, hey, we're not just going to give money and then that's the end of it. Like this money is making money, and so we're going to be able to give money forever. What else we got? Brendan Mack, what's up, homie? It's been a long time. Brendan Mack attended back in the old days when we could have deal makers weekends. When Brandon came through and attended deal makers weekend, and it was it Miami or Atlanta? I think it was Atlanta. So awesome to have you on, sir. Yeah, it was Atlanta. The Thanks for the live chat. Can you speak on the media buying strategy and the value of buying media? I'm a very big fan of buying media right now. ATL, that's right, that's right. Um, I'm a very big fan of buying media right now, and I really like buying a business that happens to own some media. But my thought on buying media, it's more of a precursor to the fact that you already own a business. Like if so like when we're buying media, it's specifically targeting media that, thanks so much for jumping on, hit the like button on YouTube. Um, it's, whoa, that was 2016, man. That is crazy. That's amazing. Time is flying, dude. But when I'm buying media right now, it's based on things that are in one of the portfolios. So if I've got a business that's targeting a certain market, what I'm trying to do is, um, basically have those that target market be in the media that I'm buying. And I've given this example before, but we specifically had a business where we were spending almost 50,000 in ads, and that was just to rent, access to Facebook's members. And so once you pay rent, that means next month you got to come back and pay rent again to advertise to those people. And so if I can buy the media that has those folks, in that case, we bought a blog that had its own social media and that kind of thing of followers, and it was making money. So I bought something at a 3 multiple, and I went from having to spend, we still spent, it cut the budget to about 10, but instead of having to spend money, I was actually getting paid to advertise to the audience that I needed. What else we got? Serene Sahi, what up, homie? Do you think it's better to be an entrepreneur and dedicate yourself to one business, or to be a micro PE guy with funds invested in a lot of different small businesses? So, love entrepreneurs. If it weren't for entrepreneurs, my business wouldn't exist. The micro private equity wouldn't exist. We need entrepreneurs to start these businesses and try to grow them. But it's really just a statistical thing. It's not about, it's not my opinion. It really is just statistics. When you look at the fact that just your odds of the business being successful are so low. And then once it gets successful, that you still have a high odds of its failing. It's just a dangerous place to put all of your energy and all of your time. And just even from that front end, like I mentioned about my thoughts on just life, time, source of energy, all of that. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, that I love, I care about, that come to me for advice and that kind of thing, that are determined to stay on that path. But the biggest downside is a lot of time is invested, a lot of money is invested, and they never get a return on it. And even if they do get a return on it, my like one of the really interesting questions that I could have gone deeper on before, and I was like, we'll maybe not go so deep on it, but somebody was like, what industry should you focus in? Or somebody else asked, what industries do you like the most, or where would you stay, what industry would you stay away from? What I've learned is that, man, like, it's so valuable to have all of these experiences in all of these different industries, because each one of those gives me something I can add to another business. So I'm always doing the opposite. I'm always trying to expand to, okay, what is a different, cool, interesting industry, and then how do I take some lessons and apply that to some of the businesses that we're already in. And it's really cool because I can look at a lot of different businesses in different industries and have a kind of foundation of knowledge to be able to do some due diligence and understand if the deal is a good deal or not. The opposite of that is the entrepreneur that focuses a year on getting the business started from just scratch to break even and making money, a few years just managing that, building a team, finding the right market, understanding the marketing that needs to go out and the benefits and blah blah blah, and just getting all that stuff working well. And then they enjoy it for a few more years, possibly. Most don't, but then eventually a lot of them do go out of business. The great majority do not turn into Apple, Microsoft, or Google. Great majority of businesses go out of, are literally the opposite. They lose money for the owners. So it's not to say that it's a bad path. It's just to understand the statistics, because at the end of that, the bigger danger compared to having a diversified portfolio is that you've got a very narrow set of skills, experiences, and knowledge. And now you've got to go out into the marketplace once that's over, whether it's a year, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years. Something happens, we end up in a pandemic in this business that you start, just like no fault of your own. It's an amazing deal, amazing business, blah, blah, blah. And, now you're stuck. And you've got to start from scratch, not just like start from scratch monetarily, start from scratch when it comes to just your knowledge. Let's come over to YouTube. What's up, YouTube? IG. I've been neglecting y'all over here. Intercontinental Receipts. What up? In regards to capital for PE funds, would you recommend structuring a Reg A or Reg D? I right now love the Reg A plus. I've been doing Reg Ds, but I think the next one that we do will be a Reg A plus. Um, and I am not an attorney. You should absolutely go and talk to an attorney. Oh no, is there a time limit on IG? It's saying I only have 20 seconds remaining for IG, guys. I'm trying to get this one in. I'm transitioning from accounting to finance, going back to school, pay for my MBA. During this time, can I begin my career in private equity? Hit us at dealmakersinstitute.com and we'll tell you how to do that. Sorry about that. I didn't know that IG, I should have told them to come to YouTube. I didn't know that IG had a time limit. Guess I never hit that before. You. Sorry about that, guys. I hit that. Post. All right. Back over here. Now you guys get to have all the attention. I neglected them the whole time, and then I wasn't able to get to any of the questions. Let's see. Keno asks, Mr. Chapman, do you consider Empire Flippers a good source for fully vetted deals? There's no source for fully vetted deals. You should always do your own due diligence. Yeah, there's just nowhere around doing your own due diligence. But I do that not take anything from Empire. I love Empire. I've done a lot of deals with Empire, like literally millions of dollars of deals I've bought from Empire. So nothing against them. It's just you've got to do your own due diligence. What's your take on investing into infrastructure projects? In infrastructure in terms of development constructions. I haven't done it, and I've done a lot, and so everything I talk about I've done, and I haven't done that, so I'll stay away from commenting on it. When you're talking about buying media, I should have been clear about that. Thank you. So when you're talking about buying media, you're talking about buying ads, news. No, I'm talking about buying the media. So where the ads would be. Let's say the ads are on a blog, buying that blog. The ads are through an influencer on Instagram, buying that Instagram account. The ads are in on a YouTube channel that they're targeting, like that has the audience, buying that YouTube channel. So podcast, whatever it is, you're buying the media. All right, last one. It's right on time, 8:30. It's the last one, and I'm bounce up out of here. What do you mean by micro private equity? Can you explain? Also, do you know Carl Allen? Yes, Carl Allen and I have done some events together. That was before. Or no, it was like so the one that Brandon who's on, he came to Dealmakers Weekend, and then we did some events as well. One in Vegas, one in LA. But we did some events where we talked about a lot of the stuff. That was a lot of fun. What I mean by micro private equity, basically investing in deals under 5 million. With the real target of being under 2 million, but like I've done deals up to 5 million. And then like when it comes to micro private equity funds, it can be large, but it's just like if you've got like I was mentioning, if you've got $100 million micro private equity fund, you just have too many deals. Like they would be impossible to do that many deals. If you're doing, literally $5 million deals, that would be a bunch of businesses to, number one, find, number two, do due diligence on, number three, negotiate really great deals and come up with great deal structures, put together the capital, close, but most importantly, manage and run. So, one of the things that a lot of really great investors talk about. It's like, concentration matters. And, if you can concentrate on some really great deals, which is what we're doing in the Sleeping Beauty Fund, you can generate those 100% returns. The more that you start to, a investor that doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't have experience, expertise, and focus should dollar cost average, and that kind of thing, and you get average returns. At least you don't lose money. But if you've got expertise, Andrew brought up Carl Icahn, and you just look at Bill Ackman. A lot of these guys that are getting really amazing returns. Bill Ackman just turned 27 million to 2 billion on a single investment. You don't get those kind of returns by dollar cost averaging out here. All right, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. Hit the like button as we bounce out. I will be back soon to do another one of these. Thanks so much for really, really great questions, really great interaction. I appreciate it. It makes it worth coming on and doing these. Later. I do know Roland as well. A big fan of Roland. Met Roland, man, with a buddy of mine, Oren Claff, who wrote Pitch Anything. Check out Pitch Anything, and a lot of that. But I'll be back soon, and we'll answer these. Also, feel free to put your question once this video is posted. Put those in there. Later, guys.